So, people have busted me in an awkward position. It has been scary. Na nimepita nayo. I have gotten away with it, and that started giving me some kind of ideas, you know. I kept saying this Baba was very persistent. And he was not the only one. Men around there used to be very, I don't know if to call it kuchokoza, which happens even back at home. Men, tunajua wanaume wakituchokoza kama wanawake. And it is a good thing because it is part of life. It is what God created. So when some mistakes happen surrounding woman-man relationship, and I do understand like Saudi culture is very different. You can see the woman, even when they can never meet with a man. They are fully covered. It is a very strict place about women-men relationships. But here I am. Mimi nimelelewa na wanaume. Tumekuwa nao. Tumesoma nao. Me interacting with a man was not a big deal. And I keep saying I'm exposed, and one of the things that was beating me so hard about Saudi was how I was so skilled and then I ended up being a maid. It was such a heavy burden on my heart. Na wakati mwingine walikuwa wanaitana hata watoto wakikuja kutembea unasikia shahala, shahala, shahala when. Roho yangu baba, oye, roho yangu. Akijina shakhala ilikuwa inaniuma. Shahala. So nishaikuwa shahala. Shakhala. Hey, man. Hiyo kitu ilikuwa inaniuma, but nilikuwa najituliza nasema, okay, life will happen. Na kaa kuna mtu mimi najua adaptation huwa na adapt. Na kaa si adapt ningekuwa nimekufa sahi. Juu Mungu amenipunish. That's how I feel punished. Nasikia unsupported by life. I have put in so much work and I'm still not. Hata kuunda hii studio after Saudi ni such a task. There are challenges left and right which I'll speak about, but this time round I'm not. Siachili ndangangana mpaka kitu happen. Unajua? Sijui mbona Mungu make life start difficult. Like sijui naweza ngangana aje nishakuwa mboch God. Shagala. Na hiyo kazi yote nimeweka kujisimamisha kuhakikisha hata sipotelei kwa drugs. The reason why I'm married yet, there are things I want in a partner and I have not found them yet. I don't know what people look for, but I assume you get married when you meet a person, they tick some of the things you're looking for, you can relate well, you know, you can plan the future, because I keep saying that marriage is not a joke. Getting children is not a joke. I'm a child of my mom and my dad at 31. I am still dependent on them, and sometimes I call and they're like, they look burdened and tired, and it stresses me out. So you could give birth to a child that will come to be stressed, yeah? And also you could be responsible for that child for a long time, you know? It is such a big decision to make about children, and that's why I'm taking my time. And because also there's what every one of us likes. Kuna vitu happen kwa maisha zinatuforce, hauna option. But mi na feel kama ninataka kukuwa very conscious about marriage. And I keep saying Saudi is about marriage. Most girls that die there have a problem settling in marriage. Either hajaiolewa ama wamekuwa na mabwana wakawaacha. I keep saying that, and I'll continue saying why I feel that way. Even after way after 3 years later after Saudi, I'm still feeling attacked because of my decision to wait a while before I settle down, you know. I think it's not a joke. I'm friends with people who are married. I have experienced unions of marriage, and I have seen some of the challenges, and I'm like, if this could go like this, we could avoid this. So Nothing is perfect. Nothing will ever be perfect. And that is one thing I have learned from Saudi. I'm imperfect. The next person is imperfect. And I understand this, but there is a level, there is a degree to which you can say, mi naeza chukua mpaka hapa. Kutoka hapo, siwezi. And I'm learning to have boundaries. And I have always had them. There are things I do not want to experience as well more because of marriage. So I'm keen on it. And I feel attacked. There's so much passive aggression from everything. I keep saying it if you're following me on TikTok. There's so much passive aggression from everything. Like, this is a way people are calling me Kairetu, especially from home. Kairetu, I understand I'm 31 years old. I'm not young. And they put it in another tone, funny tone. So I'm like, I'm aware. I'm at an age where hata mimi nikikua, hata kuna watu nilikuwa naangalia nikiwa mtu inashangaa mbona hawajasettle, I understand I'm at an age where settling in a society, people, it's normal, it's okay to ask questions. And this is me telling my story. So that maybe if you're curious out there about Beth, why Beth isn't settled yet, you might get some answers. And so that, watu waache kukua passive aggressive so much. This is me trying to free myself from the societal expectation. And I keep saying I have not refused. There are things I want to happen before I settle down. So anyway, baba ndio huyo. Pass. I kept saying there was so much. I don't know how to, I keep saying sijui niite kuchokoza. But me, I felt like that was sexual harassment. I feel like as a lady, I can work with a man without being inappropriate. But a man, I have been in so many spaces and it is very hard for men to be around women without getting inappropriate, and it bothers me, I'm angry because the world just wants to see me as a woman. I think a man should enjoy, and it forgets I'm also human. I want the world to allow me to be human before it gauges me with my sex. I want it to allow me to be human, a human being who went to school, a human being who is looking forward to have some moolah, a human being who is trained somewhere and he wants that training not to be a waste, And even today, I meet men who, when we meet, they expect me to cook. They expect me to wash for them. We are not even married, we are dating. And I'm like, in 2024, it is unfair to, let me put it clear here. I want a man who will understand that times have changed. It is no longer a traditional marriage. Traditional marriage meant men would go out there, bring something, and the woman would be left home taking care of the home and bearing children and taking care of these children. Things have changed. Even me, the way I was raised up, I was not raised up in a traditional home. I keep saying there are things that have affected the way I want life to move because I'm a victim of some of the challenges of growing up with working parents who are busy, and that is the fact of life. So if you come to me today and you expect me, utapata ni, I'm not refusing. I know how to cook. Check my socials. I do a good job. Nilichipikia mpaka Waarabu. I'm experienced, I'm not saying I wouldn't cook, but I want a man who would understand that sometimes I'm as driven as he is, and he allows me. He allows me to chase my dreams without feeling insecure first, and also without blocking, making me feel guilty for following my dreams. I want a man who can say, hey, go to a meeting somewhere this time, I'll stay with the kids. I'll stay around, look after the kids, go for that training, be trained. I want a man who doesn't expect so much from me, because I feel like the modern woman is doing too much. We are both working, but it is me who has to press your clothes all the time. It is me who has to cook for you all the time. I mean, this is a challenge to men. We are almost, at this era, we are almost equal. The way we have been raised, the way we have been trained, the way we have gone to school. So I feel like I want a partner who will not want a slave. I want a partner who will want a companionship. And that's why maybe anyway, long story short, I was talking about inappropriateness whenever men meet a female, and I felt this a lot in Saudi. I remember one time, Team Hammam, Team Hammam, hello. I keep saying they had so much insistence on the bathrooms. You could miss washing anything else, but you couldn't miss washing the bathrooms. So I remember one time I was washing the bathrooms za nje. I kept saying kuna bathrooms kulikuwa na choo za ndani na za nje. And this another brother of Baba came, and I tell you, men kept coming at me like with an inappropriateness, and I had to handle that. And I keep asking God now, whenever men are being inappropriate, nobody raises an issue. But if I fall prey of their inappropriateness and make a few mistakes, the women also come against me, and the man who is making me a victim also act less. Like I said, the moment we were caught with Baba ran away. He was there trying to provoke me sexually. His sister came and drove back the window, and I was freezing. He left me frozen and left. And that's how I find men. I feel like most men I meet are not dependable. I cannot depend on them when I need them the most. And if I can't depend on you, if that time when I need you the most is the time you're running away, I'm like, red flag. So if you keep asking where I'm unmarried yet, I want also a man who can stand with me the way you want me to stand with you and forgive your mistakes. I also want you to forgive my mistakes and stand with me without making me feel guilty all the time, without us staying on the same issue forever and ever and ever. It's boring. Let's move to the next thing. Hii dunia iko na bilioni ya vitu. Why would we stay at one single thing? That single thing will make me suffer the rest of my life. And I'm like, God, you must be joking. It must be a joke. I'm offended. Saudi, coming to terms with the whole thing about why I went to Saudi is offensive to me. And I keep saying I'm having a hard time relating with my family. I keep saying it's family issues. I'm offended. So anyway, when I was washing this bathroom, this Baba's brother came to use it, and I was like, okay, use it. And then when he came out, he flashed his penis at me. Just like that. Meanwhile, I must wear, and that's why I enjoyed my time there, because it was not making sense. If men were behaving like this and they're the same men I'm supposed to wear a baya for, then it was beating the point. They were showing their nakedness to me and flashing it anyhow. So I was like, okay. I was offended, honestly. But as many of us do as women, we have been taught to like, yeah, we can take it. Women can take it. Women can take it. But a man, if you even think about it, you are hacked to death. So it's a bit unfair. And yeah, these are some of the things. I feel unsafe in a relationship. I remember one time I was in a relationship and I was cheated on. And as I was getting ready to have the conversation, I was feeling unsafe even to have that conversation. I was even asking myself, ni mimi nimecheat ama ni mimi nimechitiwa, you know? Men don't give us space to express ourselves, and until I feel safe, until I stop feeling like our relationship is an eggshell where I can't be myself. I'm ready to be alone. I keep telling God that I'm ready to be alone. I do not want a relationship that is so delicate, that is so draining. It is me, giving, understanding. And when I make a mistake, when I drop the ball like this, I die. And it is the women who are killing me. So anyway, things have started to happen. I'm liking this Baba. Honestly, had liked Baba. Amongst the men who are coming to Chokozami, he was the one who was coming a bit appropriate, you know. He was well behaved to me. And I liked him. I keep saying he made me mess up. He's the problem. He's the person who made me leave Saudi in confusion. And he's the person who has made my life difficult after Saudi. Everything is so weird and strange. And I regret going to Saudi. And I hope, as I even give this story, I hope it will matter, because I have done so many things in life and they don't matter, and it leaves me drained. God, I want something to matter in my life. I have so much experience. I have so much to tell the next girl or the next young man or the next young person. I want this story to matter to me. It matters. I want it to matter. So the man has flashed his penis. I assumed it because honestly, we have seen so much worse, and I'm angry. I keep saying, if you're following my story, I have a problem with the way men just get away with anything. But I can't drop a ball. I must be so perfect. I feel pressured to be perfect. And I'm not okay with it. And that's why you don't find me entertaining relationships, especially men who come with the man privilege. Because they have a penis, they come with that. And I'm like, it could have simply been you. We are human beings. Why our sexual organs should not make us behave so much different? And I'm not saying not to differentiate a man from a woman. I'm just saying there are things that have changed with our times. And sometimes saying I could cook for you today doesn't make you less a man. I'm not a cook. Honestly. I'm female, I know how to cook. I could cook for you, but don't come to me like that's all you want me to be. To be cooking for you. It feels offensive. Because I could do other things even better than you, but I'm not being allowed. I'm not being supported. So I feel like I have so much and I'm being repressed, and that is my problem. And I want to be free. I want to be free to express myself. I want to be free to reach my goals. I want to be free to make the decisions I want to make about my life, about family, about children, without feeling pressured, without feeling so much judged, because I was given this opportunity as a human being. And I want to use it. So anyway, there was so much sexual harassment going along, round and round and round. But I was thinking I was handling it. And those videos of Arab women cutting up girls were coming to me all the time. I kept saying it felt like a warning. And I was like, okay. I want to see what makes a girl die. I wanted to know what makes the Arabs so cruel. I wanted to know why they keep sending us messages of like, this is not, they keep, the way they send girls in coffins. Nobody has ever asked themselves what is wrong with that place, As I came back home and I'm going through a lot, I kept asking God, you gave some people so much privilege. They feel entitled over me and the way they cut me up if I do something wrong. Meanwhile, I'm their servant. I was under a lot of depression because I was like, God is missing in this place. There is no way God existed, and there's so much and just naked unfairness. It was not making sense to me. Juu mimi nilikuwa nasema kasi jakukosea. Mimi sioni haja ya tuane pia. Hata huku mambo huhappen na sijaisikia tukiwana, although watu wengine pia huku wanakuaga. I think usually the most Arabs are people of poor self-restraint. They are very erratic. They are very reactive people. Overreactive, I would say. And this is an episode about overreactions to my thoughts. So anyway, it was getting tough, especially this persistent advancement from men. It was making my work a bit difficult. And I'm also human. There are some I was liking, like Baba I was liking, and I was like, okay, this one, I started even having bad thoughts. I was like, if this one, wakinipea ruhusa huyu, nitapita na yeye. I was like that. I wanted hata back at home. People brag with what they have bagged, You'd brag with the person you are in a relationship with. So I was like, hey, if I can get an Arab, I'll write that somewhere and it will be great. So I was like, mi wakinipea ruhusa juu there were, every time I was testing, because also I was being careful. I kept saying, kulikuwa kana ka voice kana niambia daku $100 die daku. So I was like, hey, if they allow me, they give me permission, well, I might have an Arab, honestly. Because why not? who gave me men the permission to go touching everything inappropriately, but let me return, I die? Those are the things that make me hard to be with. Those are the things that make me difficult to be with, because I'll not turn a blind eye to anything. If be advised, a person who wants me, I'll always address issues. I'll not assume anything, because that's the way men are. And they are a miracle from heaven. Husbands are scarce. I'm telling you, vile kwanza sahi staki, kwanza nasikia nataka kutulia mambo ya marriage. I feel like I'm suffering because of partnering up in marriage. I'm like, I'm deliberately not putting my energy in that space. I feel like I want to revenge, you know? So anyway, things were I was feeling this is a challenge. It was becoming a challenge. And I was thinking I was handling it, because I've handled many other difficult situations even back at home involving men. So I was like, okay, I can handle it. I had my SIM card now. I had my internet, I could control it. Nilikuwa nimejitetea sahi nanunuliwa bundles na baba, you know. And baba was making that look like a favor, you know. Na mimi kitu kwanza inahusiana mshahara, sikuwa nataka ikuwe favor. So I wanted him to tell mama he was buying for me kadi 100 real, you know. So nilikuwa nalipwa 10 reals after nijitetee. But the second time he bought for me, he came with a bundle of money, a bundle of cash. Kitita cha pesa reals na ikawekwa almost big like this. Na ikawekwa hapo ndio alinichomolea 100 real, na niko like, okay, I really am satisfied with I was satisfied when they told me it's 9 real, nilitosheka. Nikaongezewa mshahara yangu. Mimi sinanga pupa. Sina pupa, yeah. Ukishajua kuna kitu ya bure huku, kwanza after nitoke Saudi, Waarabu wamefanya nijue kuna kitu ya bure. Wasichana, usipende vitu za masponsor, utalipishwa hakuna kitu ya bure. So sinanga pupa, and I don't fear working with my hands. And it bothers me every time God is making it difficult for me to be productive, because that's how I feel. I feel like he's repressing me, and I want to make Beth great. I want Beth to be great. I want Beth to meet great people. I want Beth to have great connections. That is my prayer, and I keep saying I'm not against relationship. Even now, as I'm struggling with my mental health, I have had so many, and there are patterns that are being repeated, and I'm like, that's annoying and offensive, and I'm like, ooh, I can't. Let me tell you, there's a lot of training about marriage in Saudi. So I'm like, if you can also give our men the same opportunity, waende huko. Kwanza sahi mimi nasema, mtu atakuja na mimi, mtu hata nielewa mbona niko strict na yeye. Tutampea time aende Saudi. Miaka hizi. Na bahati yake ako na akili miaka kidogo. Alafu akuje aniambie kana overreact. Maybe atanielewa mbona sitaki upuzi sahi. Atanielewa mbona sahi siwezi tolerate hata dakika moja ya nonsense. Unajua? Atanielewa. Ile training nipewa ya kijeshi. Ile adabu nimefunzwa huko, niko like, what, mngekuwa mnatufunza si wote hivyo. Tungekuwa tunasaviana, vitu zingekuwa great huku. So I'm like, even any man doesn't understand why I'm not soft. Maybe you could go to Saudi, be a maid for a few times, then come back and tell me, am I overreacting? Should I be strict with my energy and my time and who I share with my energy, you know? Because this energy I'm giving right here, it is earned. I have been disturbed in every way possible. Anyway, there's so much sexual harassment going on. I'm liking Babam even having like, and there are suggestive Google headings like, Arab men have secretive relationship, you know. It was very suggestive. I kept saying the internet was very suggestive. It was matching it was matching the incidences in my life, and I was like, I felt what? But I was like, oof, I assumed it, you know. So anyway, that was part of my challenges. Baba was making this 100 real look like a favor and even bringing a lot of money, and I'm like, oh man, even if you are the president, I'm not impressed by money. It is not, money doesn't drive me, and if it drove me, I would be dead by now. It has been missing in my life, and I look for it. Mpaka nikakuwa shakala, mimi shahala. And they used to use that word. It's like they knew it was hurting me. I used even to cry being a maid, and I keep saying, one time as we were communicating, people at home were being so laid back. And I have a problem with them because now they are communicating so much. And when I was there, I would go look at my WhatsApp. Nobody had even checked on me. That stood out so much. And if you're following my story, that I keep saying that, I felt like they were so comfortable. And I was like, if anyone related to me was in Saudi, I would be checking on them almost every second to ask them, how is it going? Are you okay? What makes people die there? How are you surviving? You are so brave, I feel like a champion, a warrior. Every time I'm complaining about the things I'm experiencing after Saudi, people are saying it's hell. So I'm like, maybe I should add that to my CV. If I survived, if I worked for the most dangerous person, Satan, then you should all be giving me respect. Even my suitors just know I have worked for Satan, me. And he was refusing for me to leave, and I fought with him, and he let me go, So I think that should be, I can work under high pressure. Surely. Anybody in Saudi, there's a lot of pressure for everything. Everything feels so hard. Ukikakaa hivi, mara umetumiwa watu wakinyongwa, mara umetumiwa sijui nani hakuli, mara. That was all guys sent on the internet all day, every day. It's such a depressing environment. So yeah, if I survived the most pressure, so I think I'll be adding that to my CV. I survived Saudi. I can definitely thrash pressure any day, any time. So apart from I felt that was being tough on me because I have always had the thing I was so worried about marriage when I was living in Saudi, and I even keep saying marriage was on my mind, is how I kept seeing men, especially men. They were not so serious about their commitment in relationships, and it was bothering me. And I wanted a man who is committed to me, a man who will not make me feel insecure, a man who will not just be out there just wanting me to have bad feelings intentionally. And that's what I had seen around. All I had women around were complaining, oh, Mara amefanya nini, Mara. There was so much complaints, and I was like, I want a partner who really wants to give me an experience, a good one. And I was keen not to repeat the mistakes that I didn't want to happen in my future union. So when these harassments kept coming by, they were making my life a bit difficult. And I went there, and as I was getting tempted by Baba, I thought, okay, yeah, even a girl could get tempted. But as I learned a girl could get tempted, I also learned you can work on your temptation. You have self-control. And me, I was practicing that, and I was like checking. Kwanza nikiona wa mama ndio alikuwa nakatakata watu. I was so keen with women. I would never disrespect a Saudi woman. That is the person holding your life in their hands. You reject them like this, unakatakata man, unarudishwa huku bila kidneys. Ay, God. Ay. Hi, Dhuru. So, do you ask yourself where is God and why the black girl has so much problems? Because me, I ask those questions and I keep seeking God and asking, is God one, or there are different gods for different skin colors? Because there is no way God is there and the black girl is suffering like this in the hands of people we are going to just serve. Time kept being hard, and I would remember I had flown, and these are memories. They are beautiful memories I've made. I would keep looking at the memories of traveling to something. I had always wanted to travel. And when you wanapenda to travel, hey, US, US, I think US is the number one country destination for most people. There's so much going on around there, They are so much advanced in everything, and anyone who who loves advancement could easily be attracted to the US. So there were family members who kept calling and telling me, oh, hata tunaambiwa tuko US, you know. And I remember even when Hadija came, she kept saying that there was a girl mwenye amepata boyfriend na huyo boyfriend amemwambia wataenda anachukua visa akapata green card wataenda US. There are so many US stories. And remember, I felt like nikienda kwa Arabu, I expected so much, Lamborghini, pesa nini, and I went to a different location. That location ilikuwa inaonyeshana, okay, it was not okay, and I kept saying they were treating me that way. I remember even there were times they would not have money for fruit. Ilikuwa inaitwa huthra. And I offered, one time I even gave away my 100 riyals so that we could eat fruits, you know. I had loved these people so much, and clearly they were reciprocating. Kama sikukufa nilipatwa nikihag Mwarabu na hata patanangi na wasichana. So that was badass. I should be acting in some movie in the US. I'm badass. I'm daring. I just, even when I sit down and recall the events that happened, I'm like, I'm really daring as a person. Anyway, I kept looking. When time would get hard and settling would get hard, sometimes it was shahala. I had got my card now. We could speak with girls, even direct through calls. They'd also tell me, huku hata niko hata akubaiwi sijui nini, hata kujakula siku ngapi. So kama mjakula hizo siku, utalipwa na nini? So there are so much stresses for girls over there, but I realize mostly they respond to your mind. So the moment I thought I was not in a well-off place, they acted poor. It was an act. And I keep saying, check. How you're thinking about those people is how they're responding. And that's why, if kama unafikiria mtu vibaya na kishenzi na najua vile unafikiria utakufa vibaya. I was so curious about why these people kill like that. So there are people who know, you know, even me, hata mimi nikajua venye unanifikiria. That's why thoughts are private. And that's why we also check what we say. Because if we said what we always thought, it will be a chaotic place. That's why we have etiquette, we have decorum, we have, I think, and I left there feeling overstepped. My privacy was, I didn't feel in private. And I was angry. So my friends would call, tunabonga, nikaanza. Honestly, I was determined to shake off this baba thing. I didn't want it to be a thing, so I was keeping myself busy. I mentioned that I went there with the intention of trading. I had started my trading journey. By the time I got my card and independent internet and a reliable internet connection, my mood for trading had gone away. I was trying to bring it back. It wasn't. So much was happening. Anyway, I was slowly beginning to remind myself trading. We would speak with girls. I remember one time we even started borrowing money. There's a friend of mine who borrowed money from me. I gave her. And one good thing about Saudi, M-Pesa works. After some times when that man started sending money to my online, Kenya, through Safari, through M-Pesa, and I would transfer that to my bank. It was so convenient. I liked it. So we'd borrow money. Unaweza tuma pesa home, M-Pesa. It was nice. So that was great. So a friend of mine borrowed me money and I sent her through M-Pesa. No? We even started chatting with the girls. We started even wanting to form a group. I guess after every 4 months, tungekuwa tunapata 40K. Unajua? People keep making me look like I don't think. Maybe they see me, I'm delaying to get settled, and they think I'm determined. We were planning to, I was getting settled, you know. I was thinking I'm dealing with all the challenges. I'm okay. I feel safe. Kani nilipatikana kwa hiyo situation na sikuuawa. So I've started to trust these people. Honestly, I had loved them. The pictures here show. Dressing, they would allow me be a bit they were not so strict. Especially because the person I stayed with the most was Shosh. And Said, the special guy. There was no man around for most times. Only Baba who kept popping up anywhere, anytime. Now, as I was struggling with the reality of the place I had gone, I remember one time I went for COVID shots. And when I was at the hospital, there were people passing by, and I would see people with cracks in their feet, and I was like, I came to a third world country, And as a person who is very ambitious, I'm ambitious, and it's human to want the very best of things, but I'm being reminded every day through my experience to take some time. The things that don't look so big today are the ones that will be big tomorrow. I was speaking with my dad sometimes when as I'm struggling to settle because I'm under anxiety. I'm 31, I have no job, I have no family, and there's pressure everywhere. And he was reminding me that before even where I'm at, where I have rented as space for my studio, a long time ago it used to be plain land, and someone put up a house. So I have that problem of wanting to go to the top so fast. And I'll continue speaking about the lessons I've learned. So I'm learning to be patient a bit and taking time to enjoy that normal that is so boring. And this normal will become something different tomorrow. It's tough, but it's a tough lesson, but I'm trying to. So naona nilikuwa nadhani I kept saying myself nilikuja that world country, and stopped making an experience that was so awesome, an experience that was out of this world. It started to feel normal, and also I think it's a problem of, I learned to have a gratitude problem, appreciating what is now, because this now will become. That's why I started from being a baby, so many challenges, so many issues now. 31-year-old me, many lessons later, I am something different. Things take time. And most of our generation, we are losing it because we are so anxious. We want things so fast. We do not want to get the reality of building things up. And I'll speak about that because this episode was about overreactions to my thought. So anyway, I noticed, for example, when I would think a person was big, I kept saying I'm a person with a few image issues, and one of them is my weight. I would exercise on a daily. I kept saying I woke up at 6 a.m., exercised up to 6:30, and then went to make tea. That's how I started my day. Although not every day. Sometimes I have a problem of, I love sleep a bit. So sometimes I would extend to 7, and I would see in socially, the older generation have a timeline. They wake up at a particular time, and she would wake up, and I would feel her waking up, and I would like, I'm still sleeping. And she would not be so mad. So I was like, thank you. They were not so bad people. They were lovely. And when I left and I have gone through so much trouble, I'm like, I thought I had made real friendships. I thought a place where I had gone with so much fear was growing to be so free. I was going to be fond of them. I thought I had made Arab friends. I even had their numbers, and right now even you can't call. Do you notice as a girl you can never call Saudi? If you are here and you can never call a Saudi number and they pick. And I keep saying it's not a normal place, Saudi. It's not a normal place. It is not a normal place. You can't call. Some guys complain when you come here, your phone stops working. There are so many weird issues with Saudi. So there was a time I was tempted to call them and ask them what's going on. They never replied. They never picked. So I'm left here. I was left with my confusion. And as I'm finding clarity 3 years later now, anyway, I feel let down by people I had liked so much. I really do. I wish they were so clear about what you are doing there. So anyway, I noticed Kwanza Baba's wife started also going to the gym. And I told you, as from the hug, she started being over friendly. She would come and she would look like she would ask me so many personal questions. I noticed, like, as I exercised and maintained my body, you see the pictures, I like keeping fit, you know. Especially, I'm particular about my stomach area. I love us. One time someone told me my stomach was protruding, and after that I exercised, and I've always wanted to have a flat stomach. They are the things that make you tick as a human being. Some of us love style. Some of us love hair. Some of us, you know, the small things that give you joy in life. I learned to exercise and I wouldn't miss it. Babazo started to exercise and she lost considerable weight until I was like, okay, it is great. Because I was talking with a friend of mine and she said, oh, Arabu watu wanapenda wasichana wakonde. Kuna Arabu wanono. That's why I don't depend on people's things. People don't always, people tell you what they know. And it is always good to find out for yourselves. The family was that people are big. And I noticed Mama started changing the diet, you know. I would eat so much kapsa because the food there, we would eat rice and dijaj year long. And if you change the meat, you eat rice and lamb, you know. So I took care of the portions I used to take because I was keen on my weight. Mama also started changing her diet, and we would say, Mama is dieting, and they used to find it like funny and interesting. I was like, yeah, I have good influence on people. I didn't think they were overreacting. They were overreacting, my guys. I was introduced to another family, Baba's sister, and her kids were quite pum-pum, and I thought this in my mind. And every time Baba visited and said he was going there, he said he was going to check on one of the sons. He had a gastric bypass. I thought that was great if people were taking care of their health as well. I didn't know that was being passive-aggressive because I thought they were big. I remember one Mama's co-wife, she used to have a big stomach, and even sometime I thought she was pregnant. After some time, I used to like her girls. They even attached a video there. They had a very beautiful, they were girlish. So I liked the way they were putting their room. Also, look at how I was looking today. Isn't that lovely? Like here. Hi. I love you guys. The bags, the water, I'll share here. It was nice. I was loving these people. So remember one time the guys came to my room crying. Kumbe mama amepelekwa hosi. She had cancer of the stomach. It was a dangerous situation where the whole family gathered. The guys were crying uncontrollably. The next time, the second mama, ilikuwa inaitwa Mama Fatma. The second time she came from the hospital, she was thin as a stick, and the stomach was gone. That was very sass, you know. I keep giving incidences of where I felt like they were responding to the way I was thinking. And even sometimes I kept going to my room and asking myself, did I say anything? Have I ever said anything loud? And then I remembered, as I sijui Kiarabu that much, I never used to know Arabic that much to be fluent to tell people about their body. I found Arabs very conscious. They are very self-conscious people, and they are easily irritable, and they overreact. What else do I remember? I remember when Baba used to come to peep in my room, Mama would go to the field sometimes, and she would come back with shoes with blood, you know. And they would look at how I'm reacting, and I was like, you know, at home tuko na mbuzi, na wakati mwingine mbuzi wanakatwa masikio, and that blood would be on could go on shoes. That was what I didn't think they were trying to scare me. And the moment I thought women were the most dangerous, I remember the animals that started coming around. One time it was a scorpion. It was killed by Mama and her co-wife, and they killed it awfully. And I was like, yeah, definitely the women are the most dangerous here. The next was a snake, and it was Mama who killed it. And I was like, hey, you know, me, I was worried the place hakuna wanyama. Then they started seeing animals. Me, I was not worried. I think I'm an extremely calm person. I remember even one time in my high school, a snake came to my bed, under my bed where I was sleeping. And guys were busy throwing stones at it. And I was asleep. And it was on a Saturday. It was during entertainment and CU things. And I was like, I woke up and they said it was a snake. It was a tiny one under my bed. And I was like, and nikajifunikia. I'm an extremely calm person. It's hard to get a reaction from me. And after dealing with Saudi trauma, I'm even more numb. So I go through life like that. I notice things, but I don't go like, hey! Yeah, it's hard to get an excitement from me. I think it's something to do with childhood trauma and things, and I'll continue dissecting it. So how you make your feelings numb, because I keep saying, there was a time people used to talk so much about my looks, it used to hurt. So I think fighting with that, it hardened my heart. It hardened my feelings. So when I got used to getting nasty comments about my looks, I think that's where my ability to feel pain and the many things died. I became numb a long time ago. So anyway, people are having gastric bypasses and left and right, especially people I thought were big. Women would come and tell me, I have a big stomach, and I'm like, but they had almost 7 children. I was like, you have 7 children, that is acceptable. Me, I cannot have no family, have no money, and still have a bad body. I choose my struggles. So anyway, there are so many instances of Baba's wife even started, even she kept, and whenever she'd visit, and I kept saying after that, Baba's family visited a lot. Baba would also be around a lot, it would like unusually a lot. And he would also tell me about what he was doing all the time, and I was like, whoa, that is too much information. Although I liked this man. I remember one time when I was trying to brush these thoughts of him out, because I'm human, honestly. He would come to the kitchen and grab me and lift me up. And I remember one time he grabbed me and I was like, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And he was like, he moved away so fast, and he was like looking at me so keenly, and I was like, okay, so if that was hell, and I said Jesus, when you said Jesus, Satan is supposed to be so far away. That man was like, he looked at me like, do you know where you are? I keep saying I felt like the whole Saudi thing, I interpret it so differently, and to me it's heaven. So, yeah. The moment I said, Jesus, 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 he was like, okay, when this one knows where she is, He didn't look scared. If they are the devils, then they're not scared of Jesus, for your information. If it is hell is not afraid of Jesus, because there's an instance I also prayed and they were laughing at me while I was praying. But let's not jump ahead of the story. So there are definitely interesting things I have learned about the supernatural. Well, if that was hell, then we start there, because hell is supernatural, So, people started going to the gym a lot. I noticed the way I would do my makeup. I kept saying I would be in my room when I was free, do makeup. I noticed girls would come, almost have imitated exactly how I had drawn imitated everything I have done. And it was like, okay, that was almost what I had done. And it was like, okay, Also, I noticed when other people would come and cook, and I love judging people's cooking. I love cooking. I love good food. So when I would judge a person's food, niseme huyo hakupika vizuri, I would have a stomachache that day. And also, do you realize how what Team Hamam is? They give you Panadol for everything. That is suspicious. Panadol heals everything. Man, Panadol heals everything. So, what else was I about to talk about this episode apart from overreactions? I have started speaking to my friends. We are even starting to form a group, Imagine, watu wanasemanga mimi reserved, Na Saudi already nilikuwa make friends, watu tujai meet from the group. Na tukaanza group yetu ya kando, na tukaanza hata kuanza contributions. People don't take time to know me. I had already made friends. I was starting a group huko tulikuwa tunaanza contributions. Life was going. I remember I was thinking even about my mom. And one of the things that had taken me to Saudi was my mom was almost retiring. And I was like, I depend so much on her all the time. And I was like, it was ringing an alarm. I wanted to be independent, you know. I wanted to start taking care of her. So I was thinking about my mom, and I was thinking, the first 40K, I would buy a washing machine. I even started telling someone to check on it, and she used to take long. I used to tell someone to check on it, give me the price range so that nianza kujipanga. I was settling. I was dealing with all the challenges. I was being friends even with Baba's wife. Ladies and gentlemen. And I kept saying, another thing that kept bothering me is how you'd stay in the house. The routine is the same from Monday to Sunday. Food is the same from Monday to Sunday. You don't go out. Shopping, you don't go, you know. And I never thought I had missed the outside without even having said a word. Baba would come and organize, and we go outside. He would cook. That man loved cooking. He'd be cooking for the whole family. And I used to take beautiful pictures. I knew how I've always loved photography. I would go set my phone, take by myself, move away from the family, you know. I like, it's respect, you know. I'd go there on the rocks, take pictures. It was so nice, you know. And do you remember the time I said things? I would notice from time to time weird behavior. There's a clip I will touch here about a cat. That cat was brought by Baba, you know, and it used to behave in
my bush. Abubakar Ahmed. Push. Hello. Okay. Sit gonna. Yo. Oh.
I kept noticing weird stuff like that cat video. That cat was kissing me, and I was like, oh, that's weird. I kept noticing weird stuff. Weird stuff, you know. And this episode is about those small overreactions and me feeling free. If I didn't die and I have been caught in a compromising position by the Arabs, and they never did anything, I thought, okay, maybe this is turning out to be a good story. But will it turn out to be a good story? Should you relax in Saudi? Because I relaxed and felt free and allowed myself to settling in Saudi, and even started to make groups, started to make my friends, we would come together, start having groups, start having projects. Now I even started to contemplate what I would do with my money. It was a good time. I was settling. I was handling my business. I was settling in the most dangerous place and relaxing. Was it okay? Was it safe? Keep tuned.